on 10.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Switch Up Sports coming to you on a Monday. Got a special guest in today. He is someone that is quite close. He is someone that is quite the athlete, especially when a lot of people don't really think about golfers as athletes. But having both played basketball and golf with him and against him, I can definitely say that he is of a very high caliber athlete. So, without any further ado, bring in today Mr. Justin Stills. Justin, how are you today?
Good, man. How are you?
Oh, we're rocking and rolling. We're hanging out on a Monday. Nothing too crazy here in Fargo. There's snow on the ground, so we can't play golf. But I know it's still decently warm down there in Texas, right?
Yeah, it's not too bad. Probably some, well, snow tomorrow possibly. So, you know how that.
Yeah. If that's the case, then it's definitely going to be something that we'll see how it goes.
Damn. Can you hear me?
You know how Texas. Yep, you're back.
All right,
So
sweet. Sorry.
I definitely know how Texas drivers can be, and they don't understand the whole snow concept. And if it's a quarter inch of snow, then good luck.
It's
You're gonna be
crazy.
facing some delays.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're a professional golfer. You play on the APGA tour. You played golf in college, but I mean, the obvious is like, how did you get into golf? That's I guess the opener. Like
Yeah.
how is it really that you got it started playing?
So my dad got me started playing. Me and my brother started when I was probably. I mean, pretty much had a club out the womb. He was a professional golfer. He played on the PGA Tour for a couple of years, and then taught golf. Was a general manager at a golf course growing up at a Muni. So yeah, man, just played golf, played a lot of sports, played soccer, basketball growing up, and then when I got to high school, I was still 5'9" and wasn't growing, so I decided that was probably not going to be the best route for me. So started really focusing on golf, really towards late grade school and then into high school years. So got hooked and man, still playing. So
Yeah, because I remember you were talking one time about you were like all freshman team or something in basketball, right?
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. So the town I grew up in, Pensacola, Florida, was just freshman team. You know, made the all city. You know, no nothing big, nothing major. So yeah, I did that and was point guard for the Pensacola Catholic Crusaders, and yeah, played 1 year of high school basketball. So, but no, it was fun. Just the growing was a huge aspect of it. So when if you're not 6 foot minimum, like at all, like you have no chance, no shot. So enjoyed it, but it was just not for me. So but I still like playing, still like watching it. Love the NBA.
So the fact that it was almost a choice that you feel like you didn't even make, and the fact that being height challenged, do you feel that you would have picked a different sport if you weren't 5'9", or do you think you probably still would have stayed with golf?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. I wish I would have actually. If I was maybe like 6 feet, I might have probably stuck with it. But man, I didn't really get into like I never really took soccer seriously. But I don't know, like the last like 5 years since like the World Cup in 2018, just really became fascinated with it. And then there, like if you think I was thinking about this the other day, if you think about like here in America, we have like NFL, NBA, MLB, right? Like they consider themselves like the best of the best. But if you make it to like the EPL or La Liga or like the Bundesliga in Germany, like you're the best in the world. So like I wish I would have probably pursued that because it's just there's so many more like stepping stones. Um, so yeah, to answer your question, yeah, probably soccer. Because you don't have to be tall. Like Messi's what, like 5'7", maybe 5'8".
Yeah, he's
He's
not
like
a big
a
guy.
yeah, but he's like the best ever, right? So yeah, I think I would probably looking back, probably if I would taken soccer a little bit more seriously, that'd been cool.
So not taking it that serious. So I guess if you were given the choice, you can either choose to play any other sport that you didn't play or take soccer seriously. Would you still probably stick with soccer then?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's one. I don't know. I never really was able to get into soccer as much, and like it's weird thinking about now. I mean, you brought up the World Cup
yeah,
and the last handful of years and whatnot. Because I mean, I had played with Weston McKinney in high school. Like it was cool sharing a field with him, and so now it's like you look up and it's like, oh,
yeah, dudes.
Weston, one of the
Yeah,
one of the greatest
yeah,
players in the world currently right now. It's
yeah,
like,
for
oh,
sure.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy, and then
So
you get the travel and stuff. So I think that's cool.
and you get those the giant contracts and
Yeah,
you get the giant guaranteed money and
yeah,
get to hang out and you get to control a lot more than NFL quarterbacks do these
exactly.
days.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and you're like world known, right? So like, excuse me, Messi and like Ronaldo, um, those dudes are world. Like they can't go anywhere on the planet. Like there's no country on this planet that somebody's not gonna recognize them. Like you think about Dak Prescott, right? Like being here in Dallas, which I'm not a Cowboys fan. Just get that out the way. Um, like he can like anywhere in the United States he can go, but like he goes to Germany or Italy, there's a possibility he could walk down the street and nobody would know who he is. So just from that aspect, I think soccer players are just they're world renowned. I mean, they're world famous, truly world famous. So
Yeah, I think they'd look at Dak as just some other dude.
yeah,
But I guess then again, here in Dallas pretty soon they're about to start looking at him as some other dude.
yeah, for real, for
So
real.
in terms of so you took soccer and it's like, okay, it's world. But back in terms of golf is pretty world. With the different tours around the world, you've got the PGA, especially bringing in all the different players, the European Tour, now the Live Tour. With that aspect and how golf is for you now, like what do you think your golf journey is like the next like 3 to 5 years, even 10 years?
Uh, Probably my golf journey realistically would be probably to get my amateur status back, and then really just sticking going that route. So start to maybe look at the mid ams and playing in amateur stuff instead of playing professional. Because when you work full time, it's just you can't compete with professionals. I mean, they practice all the time, and when you get out and the time that you can dedicate to practice, it's just nowhere near. So yeah, realistically, if I got my amateur status back, which would probably take like 2 years if I write the USGA, and then start playing in mid amateur stuff, I think I could be competitive, um, and maybe win. Some probably not win, but be very competitive state, maybe on a little bit of a national level from a mid am standpoint. But yeah, that's probably what my goal would be in the next 5-10 years.
Well, because the cool part about that is like you had mentioned, you win, one, two of the right tournaments, and you can wind yourself up right in an event where you're playing with some of the best in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like, okay, I just have to play good on a weekend, and next thing you know, boom, your name is out there. You're playing with so and so coming in on a Sunday, and that can completely change things. Is it something? I guess more or less like what is the little thing that you think that you should probably work on then to get to that?
But like now or like when I was playing a lot.
Well, I guess kind of a little bit of both. So
Okay.
now to make it happen, but then looking back to be like, okay, well, what would you have changed?
Um, what I wish I would have changed back, it would be to just give myself a little bit more time. I quit. I think I quit playing too early. Um, just financially, kind of wasn't fully there. Didn't have the financial backing that I needed. And I wish I would have probably just given myself a little bit more time to kind of figure it out and maybe pick up some more odd jobs or something like that. Um, and I think with playing golf, which is different from a lot of sports, well, it's not really different from a lot of sports. It's just the confidence. You start to gain some confidence in tournaments. You really can like it'll elevate your game. And then from there, just learning. Putting yourself in on a certain experience. If you're in a tournament and you're playing in the final group, take that and learn from whatever outcome comes. If you win, you win. If you finish second, if you bomb, just learn from that. Um, I think that will really like help anybody really in any aspect of like life. Um, but yeah, I think that's what a lot of people do struggle with when they get to that professional level is like just putting yourself in those situations where you don't have um, maybe you may not succeed the way you want, and then just kind of giving up or being really down on themselves when you should look at it as like a learning experience and taking that and then building on top of that. So um, and then now I just need to practice, man. I need more daylight. If you find a way to give me some more daylight, I think that'll be good. So
We'll just have to get you set up with a simulator in the room, so that way
yeah,
you can have your artificial light for the full 24 hours.
exactly. Yeah.
So you had kind of mentioned tournament golf, and so tournament golf versus weekend golf essentially are two different sports. Being the fact that it's like, okay, if I made it to where it's like, okay, you're stuck, you have to choose one or the other. Like, hey, you have to only go play on weekends, or you have to only go and play in tournaments and try to be competitive. Like, I guess which would you pick, and kind of why?
Oh, competitive. I mean, being competitive, man, that's what you want. Just knowing that you're under the gun, everything matters, and building to that. I mean, that's you know how that is playing the different sports you play. It's like that competitive spirit. It's there's nothing like it. It's crack and it's addicting. So yeah, 100%. I would give up weekend golf in a heartbeat for that.
I definitely feel you on that one, because golf tournaments like they've got a little bit different energy than most other competitions, because it's such a mental game more than it really is physical. I mean, yes, the physical aspect. I mean, you start looking down to things in terms of millimeters and wind factors, and how much dew is on the grass and whatnot to make a difference. So yes, there is the physical element, but because the mental is so strong, and especially when it comes time for tournament golf, what was something that you would do to get yourself like mentally ready, both when you were growing up playing as a kid, and then the shift to college, well, I guess high school and college, but then college, and then to professional? Like, what was the different mindsets or different ways that you would get into that tournament readiness?
Yeah, so I mean, it's like I would really set game plans. So like a week before, 2 week before a tournament, commit myself to hitting X amount of balls, playing X amount of rounds. At least from that aspect to kind of get yourself ready, um, from like a physical standpoint, like get your swing right, get your touch and get your feel kind of in some kind of shape, and then mentally, you really want to play like mental games with yourself. So I used to every time for like 2 weeks before a tournament, I would just play like that was the tournament. Like even if I was just playing with my buddies, if I was just playing by myself, um, I would just play like it was a tournament round. I think that's a lot of people don't really do is they're like, it's whatever. I'm just messing around, just effing around with my friends. But if you're really serious about like competitive golf, you should play every round like it's a tournament round. So that way, I hate to say this like an old cliche, but like if you can't if you have to be ready, if you can be ready, you don't have to get ready, right? So um, that was my mindset really through college and in professionals. Like every round, no matter if you're playing for a penny, if you're playing with your buddies for a beer, or if you're just playing by yourself, just count everything, put everything out. I think that's a great way to get yourself mentally prepared because it is a lot of mental aspects to it. So
Yeah, that there was a couple times, you and I had some pretty good battles down the stretch. There was a couple times that both yourself and myself, it was a very non-competitive day, and that's kind of the interesting part about golf. I mean, you can essentially, go double double to start the day, and it can set you on a track that you just feel like you're behind all day. Um, but then you never know. You can make one swing, and it just there's something feeling in your hands. And what's kind of that for you? Like, what's the thing that keeps you coming back every time for another round? Because at the end of the day, like, yes, we all love golf, but like there's a lot of things that are like, well, you don't have to play. So
Yeah,
like, what is
yeah.
it for you that you just absolutely love about it?
Um, oh man, I just like being outside. Really like that challenge of like mentally trying to better myself. So that aspect, and just when you hit a really good shot, or you get hot, you have like three birdies in a row, or something like that, and then just the opposite, like when you get off to a bad start and then you bring it back and you kind of face that adversity a little bit. I think all of those is what kind of brings me back. It's like I said earlier, once you get that bug, man, it's there for life. I think so. Yeah, that's I mean those are would be kind of the reasons why I love playing.
Yeah, there is something about playing golf on like a perfect day when, it's like 75 and sunny. There's a few sprinkled clouds in the sky, a nice little 5 mile an hour cool breeze to keep you nice and cool.
Yeah,
That other sports I think aren't able to, because like, yeah, people talk with baseball, it's like the fresh cut grass, and like you can smell the popcorn and hot dogs and like the greasiness in the stands. Or football is the same if you're on grass or turf, but like turf has its own distinct smell. For golf, because it changes so much, and like there's so many different terrains that you can play on just depending on which state, like, did that kind of play a factor in like where you wanted to play a lot of golf? Because I mean, I know growing up in Florida, like the Florida golf is way different than playing golf in Texas or playing golf in Colorado or playing golf in Illinois. Like, what's your favorite type of golf? And like, if you only had to play, one or two kinds, like where would you primarily focus in?
um, man, there's nothing like some good cut Bermuda. Being from Florida, that fresh cut Bermuda is something. I enjoy playing year round, so anywhere warm. I haven't played a lot of golf in the north. I played in Indiana and Michigan, and then obviously here in Texas, a lot now in California. But um, yeah, I'd probably say Florida, man. It's just that year round consistency, and that's what I grew up. So I kind of biased in that aspect of it.
Yeah, there is something about Florida golf courses. They do feel a little bit better than all the other golf courses.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, Texas does a good job, but Texas it gets a little interesting with when you're playing on some of the courses that are that just really sandy, and it feels like shots feel different in your hands than,
yeah,
you get a nice little beaver pelt from Florida. You get that nice crisp clean divot that you get to go and bring back.
yeah, for sure.
Um Playing professionally, playing in college, still two different animals. I know that college golf has its own, you're normally with the team, you're in a different environment. Sometimes, you're playing 36 in a day, and then you're turning around and playing another 36 the next day. Was college something that you enjoyed, to a degree? Because just like you got an overload of competition, and especially like the way that the tournaments were set up? Or is it more just like, hey, it's just kind of part of the process, and it was the stepping to get to the professional realm?
No, man, I enjoyed college golf. Being it's different, right? So you're playing with your teammates, you're traveling with them, and all of that aspect of it. So that's in itself is so much fun. And then yeah, I mean this it's a grind for college golf. I mean, it's not like a grind like you're on the football field or you're playing basketball or like you're running for long stretches, but 36 holes walking, competitive golf, back to back days. Those are long days. But yeah, no, it's that aspect of it was so much fun, right? You get the from the staying at the hotels to eating out with your teammates to cussing them out when they suck and bringing the whole team score down. And then when you're playing bad and you're like, damn, I gotta get my shit together. Sorry, I don't know if I can cuss, but uh, yeah, I mean, all of that is like, uh, that was so much fun. I wouldn't, I you would see a lot of guys, skip high school, especially like Ty Tryon back in the mid 2000s. He came out of high school and turned professional, got on the tour. I wouldn't recommend that, man. You got to go spend some time with your teammates and live the college life. Yeah, that whole experience is a blast.
College is something. College has
Yeah,
its own, like you said, it's got its own world, and especially the college golf scene, the
yeah,
traveling, the vans, clubs all piled up in the back, you're all piled up in the van because it's like, well, we had to save $200 and we had to get the
yeah,
7 passenger van rather than the 15.
yeah.
And you just never know where that's going to lead. There's always some fun story to come out of that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's I mean, it's like any team sport, right? When you're traveling with your teammates, it's a freaking blast. Like crack jokes with each other. You just you're ragging on the coach ragging on you. You smell like it's just the whole thing. I mean, it's got its ups and downs, but man, it's so much fun looking back.
I definitely love that. It's the good nature of sports. That's why we all love sports so much.
Yeah,
That's the nature that brings us all together in a different realm because it's like sports are set outside of life in some regard. Because if you took them all away, it's like would we really kind of like I think we'd all figure it out. Like we could actually do without sports, but at the same time, I don't think we can do without sports. If you had to decide, it's like because I mean, I know you watch the PGA, I know that you watch other golf. When it comes down to it, now it's like, okay, you're now a soccer fan, you're a Buccaneers fan, you're an NBA fan, watching golf. It's like, all right, from now on, henceforth, you get one sport to pick. Which one are you picking?
uh, to watch, just to
You get one to watch, and then you'll get one to play too. So that's how you'll get your
uh,
offset.
okay, all right, to watch. Man, that's tough, man. Yeah, stick with NFL. It just NFL is I'm a football nut, so watch NFL and then obviously play golf. It would be my two. That would be like a perfect. I mean, that's a perfect day. It was like yesterday. I played golf in the morning, got to watch 2 games in the afternoon, so it was a good day.
Wow, must be nice to be playing golf in the middle of winter. That has to be
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic.
it's not too
Headed
bad.
out to the links.
Not too bad.
Yeah,
Not too bad.
it is. I guess it warmed up here. It's 29 now. It was like 10 degrees
Oof.
yesterday, but
Yeah, no.
we still have like 18 inches of snow on all grass. Ground is frozen at least down to 18 inches worth. It's brutal.
No.
So you pick the NFL. We're now down. We're in conference championship coming into the conference championship weekend. Who do you think makes it out after this weekend? You got Chiefs Bengals, you got 49ers Eagles.
Man.
Who do you
That's,
like to make it to the Super Bowl?
all right. So I it's tough. I think there's gonna be two. I think it's gonna be two really good games. Um, I'm leaning towards San Francisco coming out of the NFC only because I think they're a more complete team. Um, they, if you look like down their roster, like almost every position, they could pretty much match up with the Eagles except for the quarterback. And when I say match up, I mean they're probably better. They have aspects that are probably more. They have more aspects, more positions that are better than the Eagles. The quarterback is obviously the major hindrance, but I think that defensive line for San Francisco will get to Jalen and it'll contain him. And then you look at San Francisco, you see them yesterday, like they can win was it 19-12, and then they can go out and score 40 points, but even with Mr. Irrelevant. So, um, Yeah, man, I think that I'm leaning towards San Francisco in that, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Eagles won. I think it's a toss up. I think it's going to come down to last, whoever has the ball last. And then at AFC, man, I know Patrick Mahomes is he's the X factor, but dude, Joe Cool, that dude, he's balling. I mean, that team, he's got a good team around him, but I mean, that dude, and he's what, like 3-0 against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Um, Going to Kansas City, it's gonna be tough. And Patrick Mahomes was hurt. Yeah, I'm leaning towards Kansas or towards Cincinnati. So I think it's gonna be a Niners Cincinnati Super Bowl, and then if I had to pick out of that, I think Joe Cool's gonna get it done, man. I think he's gonna get the dub, get the first ring of many. I think.
I mean, if he makes it back to back, I think after last year's experience and the fact that they had a legit chance to win,
Yeah.
I think there's some confidence. I think there is enough of, okay, we've been here before. I know how the media thing works. I know the timing,
Yeah.
the game, it being extra long and a long halftime and long breaks. And just,
Yeah.
I think everyone on that sideline kind of feels it's like, okay, if we make it back, like we now all have the composure that we need. Like, I think there was a little bit of like nervous energy and just, hey, first time. And like, I mean, they still played just fine, but
Yeah.
they weren't as complete of a team as they are now this year. And especially as they've grown over the year, their offensive line has gotten better and now worse, but
Yeah.
the fact that they had some injuries, but they've had some guys step up. They've really put together their offensive line. They look really good. But
Yeah.
I think I'm on that same I think I'm on the same wave. I definitely think the 49ers are, the better roster completely with better depth.
Yeah.
Each position group has a Pro Bowler in it. Some have two, some have three.
Yeah.
Some have 2, 3 that all, could be starters on every single team in the league. So because they have that such complete roster, I think they didn't play as well this week against the Cowboys, and I think that could lead to a good bounce back game next week. But the Eagles, when they're healthy and they're playing well, Jalen Hurts has kind of started to find his game and his rhythm. So I think the only reason I would say the Eagles is because I think Brock Purdy will make one mistake. And I think that one mistake is what's going to cost him, because there was a couple throws that definitely the Cowboys should have had
Yeah.
and could have made a very big difference.
Yeah.
I think the Eagles don't make those mistakes and don't drop those opportunities. So I think the Eagles find a way to pull out the win, playing at home, crazy fans, absolutely wild.
Yeah.
And then Patrick Mahomes is hurt. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
high
That's
ankle
true.
sprain
Yeah.
is no joke.
Yeah.
High ankle sprains hurt. High ankle sprains limit your mobility. It's going to be an interesting day for him.
Yeah.
Now, if their defense can kind of step up and maybe make a couple plays, but the Bengals got it locked in right now. So
I know.
I like the Bengals, but I do also like the Bengals to win the Super Bowl as well. But I think they beat the Eagles to do it. And it's just because, I think they get confidence when they get there. But Justin, I appreciate you coming on. I think
sure,
you will
man.
definitely be on multiple times here in the future. I know, we talk enough. So it's not like it's a one and done. You're going to be on multiple times. But before you go, there is one thing that I do with each of my guests, and I want you to ask a question for the next guest.
Okay. Next guest.
It can be anything. It doesn't have to be like particularly sports related. I mean, it literally can be anything.
Do you think Rihanna's gonna drop her next album at the Super Bowl?
That is a very valid question.
Yeah.
And so I will give you my answer. No.
Oh, dude, that'd be disappointing, man. It's been like 6 years, 7 years. Needs to drop some stuff.
Drake gave us an album every year for like 4 or 5 straight years. And then he didn't give us one for 2. So you know what? She's waited 6. What's waiting 7 now at this point?
I know,
like,
right? Yeah.
What does it matter?
Yeah, I know, but
Justin,
cool, man.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
You have a fantastic rest of your day. Like I said,
well.
you'll be on another time. So appreciate you having me in. And we'll talk to you later.
Thank you, sir. Peace.
Justin Stills, ladies and gentlemen, a huge honor always having him on, talking to him, having him as a friend. I appreciate Justin a lot. He is a phenomenal golfer, and it is a joy anytime I get a chance to go out and play around with him, talking sports with him, and hanging out. But that's it for us on Switch Up Sports today. I am Mighty Q. That's today's show. You guys know what to do. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, put some comments, follow us on Instagram and on TikTok and on YouTube. Again, smash the subscribe, share, all that fun social media jazz. But that's going to do it for us today. We'll catch you guys later. Peace.